farmer, buy the cow,
Well, they're
take
fucking
it,
expensive this year,
right,
man.
but
Holy
take it to the,
shit.
yeah, that's because they killed over half the herds. Didn't you hear? They announced it. They said we are going, just so they told us ahead of time a couple months ago that
Yeah.
most ranches are culling by half their herds because they can't afford to feed them because of what Biden's done to the industry. So they said
Mhm.
meat prices are going to go through the freaking roof because we can't afford to feed our own damn cattle.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, what they
Well,
do
we don't have a
here,
problem feeding them. So at least we could easily feed probably 20 head, no problem, right?
yep,
And then instead of sending them to market, we're just gonna we got there's small operation slaughterhouses here
uh-huh,
in Colorado all over the place, and so we'll just send them and process them on order. And she was asking me, she's like, well, can we do, how can we do it? And I was like, well, one, all you got to do is just literally put up the meat for bid and for sale, and you can either sell it by the half,
right,
whole. Just go, have the guys place their orders, and then we go in, we just process it. It goes out right from the processor, right on the order, right?
yeah. See, what the way we have to do it here
Just do
is
it.
you can buy the cow and the pig and whatever, but for it to be butchered, it has to be butchered by a butcher that has a actual butcher license. And the
Yeah,
reason they do
like
that
what we have.
is because they want to make sure they'll do a random inspection to make sure that the butcher shop location is clean. It
Yeah,
doesn't have
yeah.
rats and
These
mice in it.
guys they have to be certified processor.
Yeah,
We have they're certified processors, and they're certified almost kind of like by, there's poultry processors that
yeah.
can do
Well,
poultry
and it sounds
of
like we
all
got the same
kinds.
thing, and we got
And
the
then
same thing.
there's pork, and then there's beef
Yeah, I mean,
processors, and they
a
all have a
farmer.
different
Okay,
certification.
yeah, a
Yeah,
farmer can't just kill a cow and then advertise, "I got meat for sale." It has to go
yeah.
to a certified butcher
No,
that
it
with a
has to go to a
location.
certified butcher,
Yeah,
correct.
that's how
And
we do
what
it.
our guys, yeah, the ones here will do that order special. They just go no problem, and then they do the processing to whatever level you want that processing. It's all basically custom order, and then they do the packing, and then they ship
Yep,
right from there
yep.
on order.
That's how we do it.
And they do it for venison as well,
Yeah,
right? So,
exactly. Yep.
and only, but there's only certain ones that'll do venison.
Really? God,
um,
ever
to,
all of them do
to,
here.
to a large. Ours don't, because of the fucking venison runs. They require a whole fucking clean,
Really?
like a whole thing, and they got to test because we got that goddamn
CWD,
wasting disease.
chronic wasting disease.
Yeah,
Yeah, here they don't. They take every deer. The only any deer that's butchered, you have to keep the head on it. And what the butchers do
yeah,
is they take the head, unless the head is going to be clean for mounting because it's a trophy buck or something. All heads are the state picks up and takes, and they test them all. And
yeah,
then if there's a problem or something, they have a test I guess the butchers can do right there, but they'll test all the brains, and that's how they're tracking stuff in our state. And then they
yeah.
immediately put out notices through the news and whatever else that this county.
Same here, but I guess there's something where, well, they're paranoid of, because if they fail the test, then the whole line has to get something, like there's this whole fucking sanitation process
Yeah.
they have to go through. If that then
See here,
everything's fucking lost. So
now
they're
see here,
very
that's only if they're processing.
particular.
Now see, they only have to do that here if they're processing the brain for meat,
Oh, okay.
because it's a brain disease. So if they're doing brain meats type stuff for somebody and that's found out, then yeah, then they got to go through the whole 9 yards.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. There was something on it,
yeah,
and so I know that not all of them will take venison because they just don't want to fuck with it.
yeah, most
It's
people
more of
here,
a, we just don't want to deal with
you can easily tell if a deer's got it
it.
here. I mean, there's no doubt if a deer has it, and well, we actually during deer season we can shoot them, and then the DNR will come and pick them up because it's pretty obvious that a deer here has CWE just by how they look,
Yeah.
how they walk, how they act. They're just, there's no
Yeah, they're a
mistaking
little
it.
zombie-ish.
Yeah, there's no mistaking it.
Yeah.
So here we're allowed to just shoot them when we see them, and the DNR will come and get
Yeah.
them.
But whatever, it's Colorado, so they have they're not as reasonable. Let me
Yeah,
put it that way. But
yeah,
yet they don't want you to kill them.
yep,
That's the other stupidity about Colorado, right? They should just say if you spot anything with what you think has chronic wasting disease, just fucking kill them. They won't do that. They'd rather just not have a hunting season at all, right?
that's just stupid.
Um, yeah, they're fucking morons out here. That's what we got. We got a bunch of Californians in charge of everything.
Now, Tuesday, the 2nd of April, we have our election here, and very
Mhm.
quietly, the left forgot to say that they've now put forth 2 constitutional amendments, and the word's getting out finally now. And one of them is they want to be allowed to take in um, money from outside the state for running the elections, i.e.,
Well,
like they
fuck
did for
off.
the Supreme Court here in Wisconsin. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so the Republicans immediately put in,
Soros wants to get his money in there.
yeah. So what the Republicans did is they stepped up, and we have a constitutional amendment vote not allowing any outside money from outside the state of Wisconsin into our elections, and a second constitutional amendment that makes it law that anybody that is that is part of the election process for counting or anything else must be an official election employee. No more just anybody off the street type thing. And the Democrats are going apeshit. You know,
Good.
because we know that
Yeah,
election here
well,
was stolen. It was proven in 70 counties out of 72. 2 sheriff's departments separately proved on TV. They had the proof in their hands, the documents, everything, showed them in full color to everybody across this state that indeed we had major election interference. The only bummer was, but I agree with it at the point that it came down, after all the investigations done a year and a half later, instead of recalling the whole election, they said this time we're not going to vote to um, pull our electoral votes because of the ramifications it would have on the entire country. Um, and most of us in the state voted and agreed with it just because at that point it would have done more harm than good. But we also said this never happens again in our state, you know. And the Democrats,
yeah,
they
it
don't like
wasn't the
that.
only state, okay? So, I mean,
No,
the
but we
problem is
proved it.
many of the other states were able to block any investigation
Yep, we did.
into the irregularities,
Yep,
and they were very successful. They had the judges wouldn't even
yep.
hear the cases.
Oh,
So
we had that
many
here
of them
too. We had that here too.
would not
But
hear the case. They would just like, nah,
well,
just,
you know what the difference was though? Here, we had a couple of smart people that actually bypassed the electoral commissions and the judges and went to their sheriff's departments of the county because they knew that by going to the sheriffs were constitutionally obligated to chase down the complaint by their county citizens. And as soon as they got the proof, they went on live TV where nobody could shut them down. And that started the whole process by those 2 sheriffs, one up in north and one down near Milwaukee, actually. If those 2 sheriffs, one was Racine County Sheriff, and they did actual criminal investigations, and that got it started, and the courts could not intervene. Even though the courts were quashing any lawsuits. And then once
yeah.
the criminal side of it came to light, the Republicans who had control of the Congress and Senate here in this state were able to then initiate an official constitutional investigation, and that's where all this blew up for the Democrats. And that's why
Yeah,
when the
well,
Supreme Court,
that's a rare exception to all the bullshit that happened in
yep,
20, right?
but that's why when we had our Supreme Court election, what was it now, 5 months ago I told you about that?
Yeah.
Soros, 5 days before the election, that lady had no chance whatsoever. 5 days before the end of the election, he came in and dropped
Why are
35
people
million.
so fucking gullible?
I don't know.
to this bullshit, these fucking just ad play. It's
I
like,
don't know.
just fucking do your homework.
Yep. But
You know,
they succeeded.
worthless fucking idiots.
Soros dropped that 35 million, and 5 days later she won. Not by
Yeah.
a lot, but she won. And so that's where this law is coming from. Never again. And the second law is to make sure that we don't have 70 counties again that proven fraud like happened this time. Because basically the fraud was the Democrats were sending anybody and everybody into all the hospitals, the hospice cares, the old folks' homes, the disabled homes, people with disabled people, and getting them to fill their ballots out and taking them for them to be dropped off.
Yeah, it's illegal.
Right. And now this year, the Democrat Party has been sending everybody mail-in ballots, and they're getting nailed by a lot of people, including my wife and I, who got ballots here at our home at our address. Wasn't our names on them. And the people that were on the ballot, the names, have never lived on this property, ever. So, yeah, there's some investigations going on that now too.
Yeah, yeah, and it's sad, but it sounds like the RNC, since what's her bucket? I think we were talking about this. They're gonna go full. They're just gonna go frickin' full bore into the ballot.
Yep.
They're gonna say they're gonna push the legal line to the limit with ballot harvesting everywhere they can, and they're gonna beat them at their own game. And they're gonna rue the day. Is basically what she said. They're gonna rue the day they fucking open this can of worms.
Did you hear about Kennedy?
They're gonna be begging to shut it.
Did you hear about Kennedy today?
No.
He announced
all the news was occupied with frickin', the Key Bridge news.
Yeah, no, he announced his pick for his VP.
Who did he pick?
And yeah, and it's a super Democrat woman, and I mean she's as far left as you can get, which I don't understand why he did that, because he's supposed to be independent. And now the Democrat Party is going apeshit about him.
Yeah, it's a draw.
What I'm wondering is if he didn't do it on purpose.
It's to draw more Democrats off of Biden.
I think that's what he's doing. He's doing it on purpose. He knows he ain't going to win, but he doesn't. He knows that Biden.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. He's going full fucking spoiler.
Yep.
He's going full spoiler.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
They're going apeshit now.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Good. I hope I hope there are Democrat women who are stupid enough to fucking vote for him.
Yep. Yep. Me too.
I pray the more the merrier.
Yep.
God, if only she was black.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm kidding. Whatever.
Yeah, but you're probably right, sadly.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, I know Trump is dropping weird hints back and forth on his pick, so who knows? I mean, he's kind of, I don't know who he's going to pick, but...
Yeah, I don't either. Be interesting. I think he should pick the South Dakota governor.
Oh, yeah? You think Nome?
Nome.
Christy Nome?
She carries a gun and she does not take shit from anybody.
Did you see? I saw her. She had that congressional hearing interview. Was last week?
Yeah.
I watched that. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
She ain't playing.
Nope.
She was pissed.
Yep.
Right. She was straight up pissed about. Basically it was all the bullshit with farmers and farmland and foreign interference and purchasing of land, and I mean, she went off.
Yeah.
My dad's been screaming about that for 20 fucking years.
Yep. But it's getting worse.
Dude, the Nocticals are pissed. So the Hutterite colony, put a bid in on my aunt and uncle's farm. That was like double market.
Right, you told me about that.
Blew the Noctigal bid out of the water. Now there's no way, because we were looking at it thinking maybe we could scrape together $500,000, to buy the farm, between me, my dad, and my brothers and cousins, right? Might be able to come together with the money, right? But you're not going to make it. We're not going to make money on it. It's just going to be just to hold the land in the family, right? But then that Noctigal bid comes in at $900,000 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it is.
I think
Yeah,
she's going about it too because of the Chinese, because they're
yeah.
trying to buy up everything.
Yes, that was a lot of it, right? Was
Yep.
she's? I mean, it was obviously a lot of foreign, but she was specifically called out this bullshit with China. She blocked all foreign purchases
Yep.
in South Dakota.
Yep.
She's like, nope, you know.
Yep.
So that's good, but that was a hell of a hearing. She definitely did well, but he won't pick her.
You don't think so?
He was, I don't know. You know, he was sitting there talking about Tim Scott in that last, was it a speech a couple days ago
Yeah.
he was giving? He was talking about Tim Scott.
But the problem is Tim Scott is Republican, and he seems to be he would be a good safe choice. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he would be safe.
I
mean,
think
I wasn't
Trump
gonna.
needs.
I had no real. You know, the problem was the same problem in 2016, right?
Yeah.
That the HUD, the guy who became the HUD director, that surgeon, the doctor, what the hell?
Fauci.
Huh? No,
Fauci.
not Fauci, the black guy that Trump
Oh,
hired to be the head of the HUD.
I can't
He
remember
did
his
a
name.
great job. What the hell is his name? I voted for him in the primary, actually. God, I can't believe I just forgot his name. He was a freaking brain surgeon.
I know who you're talking
He's
about.
that guy who,
Yeah,
yeah,
I know who you're talking about. Very quiet spoken.
very quiet, and same with Tim Scott, right?
Yep.
Scott was too fucking quiet.
Yeah.
He was too
I think. Well, I think he knew.
well-mannered, too mild-mannered.
Right.
And what he said was great, but the problem is he wouldn't fucking just wade in, and he just kept getting overpowered.
That's why I think he needs no M in there. But there's another reason. If he gets her in as vice president, I guarantee you she'll win as first woman president once he leaves. She will take the reins, and for 8 years we'll actually have a firebrand in the office.
Yeah, maybe. You know, I mean, I don't know enough about her. I don't know.
I
She
think.
seems all right.
I think you look at her state. I think with Trump, she would be a shoo-in for president. I really do. Because you look at everything she's done with her state. She was one of the first ones to call out the COVID hoax and say, nobody in my state's going to be forced to wear a mask. If you want to wear a mask, by all means, go for it. I even recommend if you're older folk, you know, because science has shown that it does impact older generations worse, wear a mask, but I'm not going to force you to. And she said, you will not have that happen in this state. She stuck to it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I just don't. Again, like I said, I don't know enough. I mean,
Location confirmed.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. South Dakota, you know, we used to be obvious was a lot more Democrat than it has been recently in the past.
Really? I didn't.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think that.
There were a lot of Democrat farmers, you know, back in the day, right? But you know,
that's hard to believe.
Through the no, it's not hard at all to believe, right? I'm talking about farmers that came through the 30s and 40s, right?
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like in our age group, because I'm like, well,
no, not in our age group. It changed. It started changing really, kind of in the late 80s and 90s. It really started turning hard red, right? But they were always red, but they had a lot of Democrats, right?
Uh-huh.
And so now, fuck, dude, you know, it's like, it's probably 70%. You know, it's pretty high now, but before it used to be pretty close, pretty even split, you know.
Yeah.
Which is good. I like that trend, but they're not a big state, you know. That's the problem. They just don't have the population. Look at Wyoming. Look at them. Look at all the Dakotas. I mean, those guys are literally a fart from California could overpop all of them.
Yeah, but I don't think that'll happen.
Fart.
I don't think that'll
Think
happen.
about it. If 1 million people left California and half of them went to Wyoming and half went to South Dakota, they'd have a majority in both states.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think that would happen because there are some states that won't put up with it. They just won't.
It's already happening. Wyoming,
Well,
because
yeah,
they've
but
already popped. Denver now they've popped the Front Range almost all the way to Cheyenne.
Well, they're trying to do it here, and there's a couple things holding them back. First off, right now they've got a guy that grew up here in Wisconsin, right? But he moved to California and became a $1 billion banker, and now he's trying to run for Senate here in Wisconsin, his home state. And boy, that's one hell of a fight because nobody's. I don't think Wisconsin's going to elect the guy out of California like that. If we do, we're idiots. But the other thing
Don't underestimate the idiot.
yep. But the other thing that happened prior to the Democrats getting control of the governorship was that the state changed the law so that just to buy a house, just to put up a house, you got to have 40 acres or more. And boy, did that piss off the Democrats. Um, they're like, you can't do that. Well, it's done. 40 acres, you can build a house because housing here is pretty much even. And we're getting a lot of people coming in wanting to buy, and there's nothing available. Nobody will sell. And that's the same thing with our farmland. There's actually a sign in my front yard. Um,
Not for sale.
Not for sale, and we do everything we can to buy the land. If something comes up, we're even fighting the corporate farms. And we'll help local farmer buy the land if it's near him. Or
Yeah.
one of us will buy it or something like that.
Did you see what fucking Oregon just did? Here, I guess they're implementing it. It passed in Oregon last year,
Yeah.
but they're going full fucking bore in enforcement this year, starting this year.
For what?
So it's the environmentalist fucking crazies. So basically, if you're a small farm, ranch, anybody, even poultry, if you have what they call, it's the stock pen feeding kind of area. It's like, so if you have concrete or a gravel bed or anything like that, that's related to, pigs, cattle, sheep, chicken, anything, right? And you're of a certain size and blah blah blah, they'll basically shut you down on the groundwater.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Cease and desist. They're issuing all these small farms, and they're shutting them down. Like, sorry.
How the fuck are they going to feed
like
themselves?
little dairy farmers, like guys are like little tiny guys, right?
How are they going to feed
little
them?
tiny farms?
So how are these politicians expecting to get any food then? Because that's where their food comes from.
They don't give a rat's ass.
Wow.
They're just trying to kill the family farm. They
Why?
want to force them out.
Why?
Well, why? Because if they go out of business, they have to sell their property. Somebody gets to buy that property.
Corporate farms.
Yeah.
Orders.
So this law is it's literally designed to kill the family farm.
Wow.
Because they've got this, you have to go through this massive red tape and expenditure to bring it to their environmental code for groundwater protection. And it literally would cost a small farmer. You can't afford to fucking dump $150,000, $200,000 or more for your little to keep in business. You can't dump it. Right, and that's kind of like a minimum charge on these guys to get this shit done. And we're talking, like I say, a guy who had like fucking 8 cows, right? But he's got a concrete pad with 2 milking stands on it.
Accelerating to maximum
Boom.
speed.
He's out of business.
Wow.
It's not to their standard.
Receiving you.
You got a gravel bed around your
Copy that.
horse tank or your cattle tank. Nope, sorry. You're done.
Damn.
That kind of shit. And or you got a poultry farm, and you have in your coop, you have a gravel bed, right, or a concrete pad
On the move.
in there with the chickens. Done. You're over. The only way. So if you don't mind dirt and mud, right, unimproved, if it's unimproved and there's nothing like that, fine. But you can't milk on open dirt. You can't shear fucking sheep on open dirt and mud and crap like that in the grass. You gotta have, there's all kinds of things. The reason you do it is because, one, health, cleanliness, and all kinds of other reasons, right? And so, yeah, they're fucking assholes. And they have laws on, so say you're a small, farmer that does small produce. They have really strict ground, because I guess in Oregon they pass a law, you don't own water rights. Nobody owns. Everybody owns all the water rights. So it's kind of like this communal water, groundwater.
Yeah.
And so if you're 2 acres or less, you have one set of rules. If you go over 2 acres, you have this second set of rules for water usage. And it gets very restrictive if you're for profit, or if you're, this, if you're doing it for profit, right?
Yeah.
You have another set of rules and on groundwater use. And if, they just estimate you're in violation, they shut you down. They just fucking go in and just shut you down. Cease and desist.
There's got to be it's got to be more than just corporate farms or something. There's got to be something else going on.
Well, there are a bunch of commies over there, so I'm fairly certain they just want them out of business.
For what though? It's got to be more than just corporate farming, because corporate farms can't produce a lot of the foods that the smaller farmers do produce. So there's got to be some other major plan on the Democrat side that they're doing this for. There's too many things that the Democrats are doing that make absolutely no sense.
Makes no sense. Like I said, it's environmentalism gone wild. And whether maybe they just don't see what they're doing, maybe it's just purely fucking,
It's got to be more than that. It can't be just environmentalism. It's got to be. There's got to be some plan. I wonder if this is all tied. I wonder if this is all. I wonder if it's all.
Go ahead.
I wonder if it's all tied to the thing that started coming up like 15, 20 years ago or whatever it was, about reducing the world's population. And I wonder if their plan now is to create starvation.
Well, there's a problem, right? You can grow food for yourself, right?
Not if it's outlawed. Not if it's outlawed.
Out of business, true. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
it's weird. Is a lot of these little farmers that they're just totally fucking their whole livelihood up and their lives.
Yeah.
These aren't conservative people up there. Okay, they're not fucking right wingers. These are really lefty kind of little crunchy
So these people.
My organic little goat milk farm, right?
Well, these people voted for it. They voted for it, so I guess they're gonna.
They voted for it, and they're fucking like, how could you do this to me?
Well,
they don't understand. They're like, I don't understand, and it's like, well, you voted the morons in.
Yep.
I get, because you just look at them. I was watching some of the interviews that they were interviewing the different people, and I'm like, yeah, there's not a conservative in a lot of these, right? And yeah, there was this one guy. He's a rancher, and he looked conservative, but he's like, well,
Well, ranchers won't allow it. The ranchers will.
This guy was like, this is what you get.
Yeah, but you start taking ranch land, and they're going to pick up a gun just like the Bundys did and say, nope.
Yeah, they are. But he laughed. His point kind of was more like, well, you do all these things to improve, right? And he's like, and so they make it to where the only way to keep in business is to basically just make everything, when it rains, it's just gonna fucking get muddy.
Yeah.
and whatever, you know.
Then you're
So
gonna have
it's
runoff.
basically like the only way to comply, he's like, is to tear out all the improvements.
Yeah, because then it'll be runoff into the rivers and stuff, and they'll go, "Oh, wait, I think we should have." Because
Yeah, it's
that's
just
what'll happen.
you gotta destroy the improvements that you've made, and basically erase them. And now it's just fucking mud. You know, you're not gonna have. You know, he's like, it's just the way it is. So they you know, now they're gonna
It's just unbelievable.
whatever. But they're not gonna, you know, his attitude was they're not gonna fucking drive me out of business with this bullshit. I tear it all out.
Yeah.
You know, there is no improvement. You know, so and they call it. It's like, you know how, like, when there's, say you have a feed lot type of style improvement, right? He's like, you just can't do that anymore. They won't, if you want to stay in business in this state. You gotta just basically just revert it to dirt, and then you're fine. It's like fucking idiots, right?
Yeah.
Copy that.
I'm just the more of these stupid things like this are taking place with the water and the food and the farming and everything. Up here, people are starting to ask that question. It's almost like they're trying to intentionally starve, get humanity to a starvation point.
I think
And
that's part of this whole fucking CO2 villainization is a part of that. I believe that's a big part of why they're trying to villainize CO2 and try and reduce CO2 is because CO2
it's plant. It's for plants.
yeah, it's plant food. Our food production has gone up dramatically over the last 100 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, guys are going, yeah, quite a bit of that is because we went from about 200 parts per million, right, back then, to now 400 parts per million, right? We've doubled our CO2 in the atmosphere. It's still a paltry amount of CO2. Everyone laughs. They're like, oh, yeah, it's still an incredibly low amount of CO2 in our atmosphere. But, you know, when you're at 185 is where shit doesn't grow at all,
Yeah.
is death. You know, going from 200, which was just above, right, you know, bare level,
Yeah.
to now 400, it's like you get that 200 gives you almost, I think they said it was about a 15% improvement
Yeah.
in plant growth. And they're like, 15% is a shit ton, right?
Yep.
Especially on large scales. He's like, but you know, we've talked about this. You know, these freaking guys in greenhouses, they'll pump it in there and they'll get it up into the thousands
Yeah.
of parts per million, and they'll increase production up. I think they start maxing out about, you know, 35%, but that's huge. It is nuts, right? It's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You start getting decreasing gains as it gets up really high. So most guys, you know, commercial guys don't push it up above a couple thousand, but it is huge benefits for them. At any rate,
Yeah.
I think that's part of it too. They want the lower CO2. They want to get food production down, and you know, there's a lot of people on the planet.
Yep.
You know, how many billion, you know, billions of people do we have around right now? Right? It's like 3 something. Or no, I mean 7 something.
Yeah.
Sorry,
7 something. But that's why I said for
7 something.
about somewhere between 20 and 30 years ago started that big move and that big push about people saying that we need to reduce our population because the planet can't sustain it.
The planet can
And
totally sustain it, but if they can fuck up CO2, imagine the food we produce, our capability of production back in the 70s, right?
yeah,
If they can manage to, a lot of people are going to have to starve to death.
right.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to have to starve to death. And if this weather pattern they're predicting changes over the next 20 years, and we lose that growing cycle up in the northern, you know,
Yep.
Canada and northern U.S., and we lose that, and we're back down to one growing cycle,
Yeah.
fuck balls.
Yeah.
People are gonna be dying wholesale.
Yeah.
Starvation will be rampant.
I'm starting to firmly believe, though, that there is a concerted effort, a plan, and I've said this before. I have no personal doubt that there is a plan in play now that is tied to all this. There is no way this is all being done. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know, randomly, organically, or just
Organically.
without,
Organically. That's what I was looking for. There's just no
Yeah.
freaking way this is an organic movement. It's just not
It's
possible.
being directed. I agree. It is definitely there's a controlling force that is directing this,
Yep.
and it is probably population reduction is, I'm sure, one of their primary goals.
Yeah, I don't think it's the only goal, but I do think it's a primary. There is no other explanation for, and when you think about
You know what
everything,
really gets population under control quickly?
birth control.
No.
Well, if it's sports,
War.
well, war too.
Yeah.
And that's why I think China could very well be part of this whole thing. I mean, it's
I think China just straight up wants to take over everything. You know, I think their intentions are pretty clear. And
yeah, but could you imagine if there were a cabal of the West, the rich elites, they have a cabal, say, and they promise China that China will control all of Southeast Asia, every bit of it, and the cabal will control the entire West as one whole thing. I would bet you China would take that deal. I have no doubt China, because that's what their stated goal is to control the entire Southeast, South
they
China
want to
Sea.
control the whole world. Don't sell them short.
Yeah, but I bet you they'd take the deal and then worry about.
And then yeah, renege on it.
Yeah.
Later. Sure, absolutely. I think you're right.
I mean, that's.
I'm sure they would love to. What was this shit? Did you see them complaining about in Cuba about their gas prices?
No.
Well, because Russia's been subsidizing Cuba's gas forever, right?
Yeah.
For fucking 40 years, right? But Russia stopped sending them, free fuel because of the Ukraine and restrictions or whatever. They stopped sending Cuba their free gasoline shipments,
Uh,
and it is fucking Cuba up because they're like, we haven't had to buy gas in I don't know how long, or pay for gas,
I
right?
hadn't heard of that. So we got another hot
Yeah.
spot on the planet then, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they're losing their shit over it.
I'm taking
Yeah.
structural damage.
So
But
it's another hot spot then, is what you're saying. That's
eventually,
going to be building. And China and Mexico. Did you hear the Mexican speech?
yeah, fucking asshole.
I mean,
Yeah, he ain't gonna help us, is he? Yeah.
it's like not help us. He basically tried to initiate a bribe. He basically
That sounded
said,
that way, didn't it?
No, he said it outright. We will not stop anyone from coming into your borders unless you pay. What was it? Unless you pay all of the South American cities enough money that they can fix their poverty and food crisis and all that stuff. Otherwise, Mexico is from now on just going to let everybody cross the border that wants to cross the border from this point.
Yeah, we're gonna fucking
We're going to end up
get all of them, and we're gonna put them right back into your country. And
No,
you're gonna be able to do
Mexico's
a
saying
thing
they'll
about
block it. They won't allow anybody back across the border.
it. Good luck.
Well, I agree, but that's what they're saying. I'm just letting you know what they're saying.
Oh, I heard. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I recall.
It was on yesterday's
I
news.
have a sneaking suspicion That may not go over well.
Oh, it's not going
With
to
the
go
next
over well, but
administration.
right now they have the power to do that because Biden's in office.
Mm-hmm.
You got to remember who we have in office.
Oh, I know who we have in office right now.
Yeah. So they're doing all this shit right now, and it's going to be, well,
Yeah, it's not going to go over very well. The next administration.
But how long is it going to be before the next administration's here? And that's not a,
about 9 months.
right, and that's not a gimme either. Anything can happen between now and 9 months, including.
It's not a gimme. You're absolutely right. It's not a gimme.
And anything can happen, including martial law, of which time then we'll enter a civil war. I think they're either going to try to take him out, or they're going to find a way to put us into martial law, thinking that the NDAA gives them the power to cancel the Constitution. I'm telling you right now. That's our number one thing on our list.
I think he's desperate to get into a war with fucking Russia is what I think.
There's no reason to get in a war with Russia. China, yes. Russia, no.
That shot went internal.
They want
to get sucked in something. I don't know.
That's why China's the big one. That's why they want China, because China will decimate a lot of everybody, and that'll cause our defense industry to go through the roof in building and money and everything else. And China's going to be it if that occurs. But I think we're also going to be. Our number one scenario that we've been going through, and it's held, is that the next war is going to be with China. We don't know when, but it is going to be within the next year or few, between now and probably sometime in the next few years. Let's put it that way, with a good shot of it still being this year. And we also think in that scenario that the left is pushing for somehow to retain control this election cycle. And the best way we can come up with for them to do that.
What? Those evil election deniers?
Yeah. Well, the only way we can think of them conceivably even pulling that off
Position confirmed.
is by something taking place during Biden's term where they can declare martial law. Because they firmly believe that the NDAA that Obama started gives them the authority.
Do you think they're testing the water with these ATF actions? Like that guy, they just fucking. I mean, he's not dead, but he's brain dead.
Yeah.
Where they go and they had a no-knock warrant on a paperwork, just a search, wasn't an arrest warrant.
Yep.
Why would you go into a guy 6 o'clock in the morning, no knock, on just a like, oh, we want to see your records?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you a gun purchaser?
Yeah.
And then you get into a gunfight with the guy because you busted in his house, no knock, at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Standing by.
And they kill the guy.
Right. For no reason.
For no fucking reason.
Yep.
No fucking reason.
Right. That's exactly.
You know, he hadn't been charged. He didn't have an arrest warrant out for him. They went in with force, no knock, on a fucking crap warrant that was just a search. It wasn't even a search and seizure warrant.
I know.
Fucking an investigatory warrant. That's like, why in God's name would you do that way?
That's why I keep telling you something is wrong.
They are testing the water.
And they think the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, that they passed with Obama brought it out, and they've passed it ever since. They think that's what also contains the Patriot Act, and they think that NDA, National Defense Authorization Act, is going to allow them to declare martial law to suspend the Constitution. That's what they think. And the sad part is there are probably a bunch of freaking idiot Americans that probably think the same thing. So, but there'll be civil war over it because I won't. No way will I sit here and do nothing if they do that. There's no way. I can't because it'd be breaking my own oath to the Constitution. I mean, that's how serious this is. And
yeah, I think they're testing. They're gonna try and selectively isolate and just take people out.
right, that's what we agree.
Quietly, and as quickly as they can. They're just going to start striking people where they know actionably that they've got the goods, that we know that they're probably going to resist. We'll go in under these pretenses, and that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, we agree.
I think they're testing the water.
That's
and
what I've been saying.
If they get away with it, this is.
I don't think it's a test to get away with it. I think what they're doing is doing this as a training. They're getting ready. They're feeling out the best way to do this.
Yeah, sure, it could be training.
Right. And that's one of the reasons. Sure. That's one of the reasons that they've hit Trump with almost 100 indictments for everything under the sun. Even Trump doesn't understand what the hell's going on. He said that. He's like, this doesn't make any sense. He knows they don't like him. Okay, that's fine. But this is so far over the top that it literally makes absolutely no sense. And
I hope his Secret Service detachment is fucking shit hot.
Or will it be filled with people from their side?
I would imagine. Well, that's a good point.
Got it.
I can't believe that the Secret Service, who is with Biden 24/7, hasn't come out publicly per their oath and said, this is not right. This cannot be the way it goes. We might be tasked with protecting the president, but that doesn't mean we go against the oath and not disclose when we see unconstitutional stuff taking place, especially when it pertains directly to the office of the president. That's the part that's bugging a lot of people in the military.
Reporting. Enemy vehicle eliminated.
But,
well, I just hope they fucking shit or get off the fucking pot.
Yeah. Something's got to give. My big worry right now is that we are headed for a situation that people in this country are
we blew that 22, that Winchester Model 5050.
Yeah. Yeah, you said that the other day.
Over the weekend, I told you that. Yeah, it turned out nice. Yeah, it looked good. I told you. Never mind then.
You were drinking sake and talking about it.
Oh, that's why I don't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I do remember now, but I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
You were nonstop talking.
I gotta go to bed.
All right.
Later, man.
Later. Night.
Night.
Tell me what you need. Acknowledged. I'm moving. Locked in on the target. What do you need? Confirm. Orders. Roger that. That was a glancing blow.
What?
Enemy flanking.
Really?
That shot.
Command interface initiated.
Copy that. Confirm. On my way.
Okay, the standard approach isn't working. I'm inputting a valid ID, but for some reason the door won't budge. I think I found a workaround, though. It'll just be another moment.
Be careful of those things. They're armed to the teeth and coming in fast. And there's probably more where they came from.
Standing by.
Yep. Move into position. Time to get physical. Move her down.
Reading loud and clear. I'll make it happen. Handling multiple points.
Receiving you. Coordinates received. I'm showing minor damage.
Engaging multiple targets. Damage minimal.
Do they think they can hurt me?
You have my attention. I'm moving out. Closing into melee range. Reporting one less vehicle.
Aye, aye. Copy that.
hear you.
Yeah. Location confirmed. Standing by. Roger. Got a lock.
Damage minimal.
Follow me to victory.
Enemy unit destroyed.
Tell me what you need.
I've got a sensor lock. Yes, Commander. Roger. Locked on the target.
Barely scratched my armor. I'm taking structural damage. Damage minimal.
Heads up! You've got more of those little bastards coming in from the vents in the rock.
I'm on it.
What do you need? Coordinates received. Copy that.
Mission successful.
Attention, forces of the Urano Restoration. I'm Commodore Samuel Ostegard of the Concord Navy. You are surrounded by a battalion of the Taurian Concordate's most decorated mech warriors. On behalf of our allies in the Aurigan Directorate, I demand your immediate and unconditional surrender. But I know you won't stand down, Lady Urano. You're the Sword of Restoration. You have a reputation to uphold. And that's good. I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm going to enjoy painting the ice red with your blood.
Update initiated.
Just a heads up. When we get to a safe distance, I'm going to set off a little surprise I left behind for our Taurian friends.
Surprise?
You'll see. Trust me. You're going to love it. Coordinates received. Now that is something good.
Okay, that one hurt.
Good to go. Moving to position. That didn't hit.
I'm listening. Closing into melee range. My shot went wide.
Took a hard hit there.
Yeah? Moving to position. Targeting for physical attack. Targeting systems janky. I'm taking heavy damage. Armor holding.
How's it going?
Aye, aye. Position confirmed. Time to unload.
Standing by. Engaging multiple targets. Pierce through the armor.
Moving to position.
Target confirmed.
I'm in trouble. Orders. Roger that. Damage is light.
Standing by. Acknowledged. I copy. Vehicle down.
Yes, I hear you. I'm on my way. Confirmed. Reporting a critical strike. Standing by. Let's move. my attention. I'll make it happen. Acknowledged.
Roger.
Coordinates received.
My forces are closing in on you, Lady Urano. Your time is running out.
On my way.
Yes, I hear you. I'm on the move.
Confirmed.
Confirmed.
On it.
I will rain fire on your lance and smile as it burns.
On my way. Location confirmed.
Standing by.
Understood.
Heading out.
Affirmative.
You have my attention. Sounds good. I'm moving.
Position confirmed.
On the move.
Reading you loud and clear. I'll do what you ask.
Copy that.
Affirmative.
Ready.
Receiving you. Roger that.
I'm listening. Taking her to top speed.
I'm here. Let's move. I've been sensor locked. Armor breach. Internal damage. Move order received.
Orders. Copy that.
Tell me what you need. Confirmed.
Aye, aye. Roger. me.
I'm hit. I lost a weapon.
Waiting for orders.
Copy.
They've got a sensor lock on me.
Firing on target. Reporting critical hit.
My armor's melting off. You have my attention. Copy that.
That shot went internal. Oh, Commander. On the hit.
Aye, aye. Acknowledged. Copy that. Got past the armor.
I'm getting real banged up here.
I'm listening. I'll do what you ask.